Cimoooooooo! What's going on, guys? It's Cimo, and welcome back to yet another live duel commentary. So on the left, we have Guru Control, a nice solid tier 2-ish / rogue deck that happened to just win Pro Play Tour Columbus on the left, going up against Salamangreat on the right. So Salamangreat's going to start things off for us. We have a Foxy effect on normal summon, revealing a Fusion of Fire, Will of the Salamangreat, as well as Salamangreat Spinny. So it's going to take Will of the Salamangreat. Fusion of Fire, a very interesting card to be played in the main deck, gives the Salamangreat player some extra aggression, some extra reach, and being able to kind of assemble the damage he needs to close out a game. Very powerful card, but not really seen too much in the main deck anymore. We're going to see him go ahead and bring out a Spinny, go into Mirage Stallion, activate the effect, and it looks like he's going to be met with an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. But he did get that Will of the Salamangreat, so he's able to extend past it, and that's one of the nice things about Will of the Salamangreat and why you're seeing it played at 3 copies on average now in most of the Salamangreat decks, just because it allows you to play through forms of disruption, and you can keep going on into plays like your Sunlight Wolf, different things like that, which you're most likely going to see here. It also allows you to special summon from the hand, which doesn't get used too often, but something you definitely should keep in mind. So now we're going to see him make Sunlight Wolf. I want to talk about Guru Control for a second, though, while we have this going on, because Guru Control, again, it did just win Pro Play Tour Columbus. We do have Pro Play Tour Dallas coming up, as a matter of fact, on November 23rd and 24th. If you want to do and enter our $2,000 prize pool event on Saturday, or you can do our 3v3 case tournament on Sunday. Either way, we hope to see you guys there. You can pre-register in the link down in the description. But Guru Control, just a very solid control deck, a little bit reliant on trap cards, but ultimately, it's still a very solid deck at that. And in an undefined format like the October 2019 format, since we still don't really have a defined metagame at the moment, Guru has the chance to capitalize on this. So we have Salamangreat going into a copy of Hita stealing the Ash Blossom from the Salamangreat players, or excuse me, from the Guru Control players field, but that's going to be met with Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, and that's going to trigger Hita's effect, which it looks like the Salamangreat players just verifying what his eligible targets are, but it allows him to search a fire monster, I believe with 1500 or less attack. I believe it's 1500 or less attack. It's that or defense, one or the other. But in any case, he's going to grab Gazelle 100%, and that's exactly what he's going to do. That might just kind of be the end of his turn, though, because he has normal summon, he's used Spinny, he's used Will, he used Foxy's normal summon effect, so he can't really do a whole lot. I'd be very surprised to see him actually have any other plays at this point, but setting up for next turn, not too bad. Looks like he's going to pass play, though, so Guru now has the chance to set up. We're going to lead with a copy of Hidden City here. If we have an Ash Blossom for that, that would be pretty ideal, denying the Subterror Guru player. Oh, nope, there's the Ash. So Guru has been denied, unless he has one in hand, but there is Called by the Grave, so Ash is going to get banished, and now we're going to go for that Guru. So Guru's going to be able to set up here, and this could be a very good position for the Guru player, because right now there's no other disruption on the Salamangreat player's field. He could have some hand traps. Keep in mind, Salamangreat does play anywhere in the neighborhood of like 9 to 12 hand traps on average, so just because he played through the Ash, he could still have to play through something like Effect Veiler, or there could be a Phantasme lurking in the hand as well to kind of refresh his hand a little bit. He's going to go ahead and set that copy of Guru. He's going to set 2 cards, use Hidden City to flip up his Guru, search a copy of Fiendus here most likely. That way he has a negation in his hand, and that just might be it. So having that in this simplified board state where the Salamangreat player doesn't really have too much going on. Granted, he's got a lot of graveyard resources. Keep in mind, he has a Spinny engrave, he has a Foxy engrave, so that right there is already an ability to get Mirage Stallion again if he happens to play a second one, and it looks like we're going to search a copy of Final Battle instead of the Fiendus. Interesting. So Final Battle has a myriad of different effects and is a very powerful card for the Subterror deck, and play is going to get passed back to the Salamangreat player. Again, it's not impossible for Salamangreat to play through this with having access to cards like Heat Leo to be able to shuffle away these back row. It's not the end of the world, but I'm curious to see if, picking that Final Battle over that Fiendus was the correct choice. We're going to start with the Foxy. Foxy is going to resurrect itself by pitching a copy of Falco. And it's going to bring it back to the field here. He does have Gazelle in hand. Do keep that in mind as well. And we're going to go ahead and pop the copy of Hidden City on the Subterror player's field. Now we're going to normal summon Gazelle. Gazelle will be able to dump a monster to the grave. He could dump something like Jack Jaguar if he wants to. I don't think you have to, though, because you could just summon it off of Mirage Stallion. He's actually going to send Rage, which I think is much better in this instance. Roar is also another valid target as well, but I think this is probably the best option considering the current board state. He's got a lot to work with here, though. He could go into a copy of Baylynx now, be able to get his, his Salamangreat Sanctuary out of the deck, then be able to resurrect Spinny, go into the Mirage Stallion, and then make things go from there. That Baylynx is going to get hit by Solemn Strike, though, interestingly enough, so Subterror player is going to go down to 6,500 life points. And now we're going to see Spinny's effect come down. This is going to make the way for the Mirage Stalio, it looks like. Subterror player, just considering his options there, don't think you'd have to do anything at that current moment, and it looks like he's opting to keep it there. Keep in mind the card on the far right is the final battle. The Mirage Stalio is going to get hit with strike here, and that will strike the summon. So keep in mind that if you strike the summon of a card in Salamangreat, you can't protect it with Balinks because you're negating the summon itself. You're not negating the activated effect of the Mirage Stalio in this instance. Will the Salamangreat, though, still a hell of a card. He's able to go ahead and resurrect his copy of Gazelle here, and if he has a way to kind of extend through this, that could be pretty nice, but he has used his he's gone into his Mirage Stalio, and I highly doubt that he plays 3. He's going to use Falco to bounce the Gazelle back to his hand, special summon the Falco out to the field. He has not used the effect of special summon Gazelle yet. He's only used the ability to dump, so he could potentially do something with that, but it looks like he's just going to set a card and pass here. Not the strongest turn from the Salamangreat player, gotta say, but you know, those 2 Solemn Strikes coming in clutch for the Guru player. He is on 5,000 life, but again, play is still very much in his favor at this point. Drawing a copy of Archer here, it looks like. Archer's not really too good in this particular instance, and unfortunately, the Subterror player, you know, now that Hidden City's gone, he doesn't really have a lot going for him. That's kind of one of the reasons why you want to get Fiendus, because being able to have Fiendus, you're able to flip the Guru back down, and that way you can flip it up again to be able to ensure that you're going to continue your resources being generated, because right now the Subterror player is at a little bit of a standstill here. The Salamangreat player just taking a read of Archer. Archer is essentially Aaron the Lightsworn monk from Lightsworn. I believe it shuffles a set monster back into the deck, which is a pretty nice effect if you're able to set something off of, like, say, a Guru, which happens to be a Book of Moon for both players if you control another Subterror card. So he could potentially go Guru effect, set both that and the Falco, and then like Archer, like, attack, shuffle back the Falco. I'm not sure if that's the correct play, but he could do that because then at least Guru is like set, so he can potentially just start generating advantage again. This is one of the things that just kind of shows the strength of Salamangreat, because even though the Salamangreat player has kind of been thwarted 2 turns in a row, all of his resources are on the grave to be able to use again on the next turn. He has the Spinny, he has the Foxy, Gazelle's in hand. He's got all these resources, and that's what just makes it so powerful. But it looks like we're going to go ahead and see the Subterror player attempt to flip down the Guru as well as the Falco here. But we're going to see a copy of Trap Trick get flipped from the Salamangreat player. Very interesting tech. That's something you don't really see Salamangreat play too often. But we're going to see a copy of Infinite Impermanence get banished here. And I'm really curious to see where this is going to go. So we're going to get a copy of Impermanence set here off the Trap Trick. The Guru still will resolve in this instance. I'm assuming Trap Trick's being used in response to the Guru activation. Now it's going to go ahead and flip up the Guru. Now we're going to see Impermanence for the Guru here. We're going to see a copy of Final Battle get flipped in response to that, which I believe there is a mode that will actually protect from Impermanence working, and then Final Battle will set itself again. So a little bit of just being caught off guard with Subterror Final Battles. 4 different effects. There's one that can like double the attack of the Subterror monster. Just has a lot of really interesting effects. One of them just ensuring that your Guru can also just go through. And now we're going to see the Subterror player search a copy of Fiendus. That's something you definitely want to be sure you look out for if you're going up against Guru Control. Make sure you don't get blindsided by that effect, because in this instance it could be very devastating. Now I'm a little bit confused here because the Guru did reset itself, and I'm not sure if it was supposed to set something else in addition to that. So I'm curious to see if that is the case, but it looks like actually the Subterror player is going to pass the turn. Interesting. So he's going to leave his Guru and his Archer face up. Now do keep in mind the Fiendus is in hand, so he wants to have at least one Subterror monster still face up, opting not to attack into the Falco so that the Salamangreat player doesn't recur that copy of Rage that's in his graveyard. That might be for the better, because I could just blow him out entirely at this point. But he does still have to play through that copy of Fiendus here. But if that's the only, you have to play through the Fiendus as well as the Final Battle to a degree, but I don't think you have to worry about it too much. We're going to see a normal copy of Spinny. He's already got one engraved, so it's not too bad. He's going to go ahead and link these off into a Sunlight Wolf, presumably. Looks like it. That could trigger the Falco effect. He's going to trigger Gazelle at the very least. Going to go ahead and special that out to the board. And then Gazelle's going to go ahead and trigger. Dump another Salamangreat card again. He's got a lot of options here. He's gone through a majority of the Salamangreat cards. I think the only 2 that are left that are super valuable are Jack Jaguar, which he does send, as well as Roar. Where it could be nice, because if you can access a copy of Balinx, you could just set it on a reincarnation summon of a Salamangreat monster. So that way you could recur Rage with something like your Sunlight Wolf and then have Roar set as well. And that would be very strong in this position. So we're going to see Jack Jaguar special summon itself by shuffling one of the Mirage Stallions back into the extra deck. It summons itself to the zone that Sunlight Wolf points to. That's going to trigger Sunlight Wolf's effect when a monster gets summoned there, and he's going to add one of his Salamangreat cards back to his hand. Monster specifically, that is going to be met by Fiendus. Fiendus is going to negate that, and it's going to flip the Guru back down. Fiendus can just negate anything. It doesn't destroy, which is probably one of the only downsides of it, but the fact that it can negate almost anything is just insane. He's going to link off that Jack Jaguar into a copy of Balinx. And now he's going to go ahead and dig through his deck for the copy of Sanctuary at long last. It got stopped by Strike in a previous turn, but now he's able to access it. Now he can Reincarnation Link Summon. He could go into Heat Leo here. He can shuffle back the copy of Final Battle if he so wants to, but he's going to go ahead and Reincarnation Link Summon for a copy of another copy of Sunlight Wolf, get the Rage back to his hand with the Reincarnation Summons effect. And now he's just in a pretty solid position at this point. I mean, he could even just set the Rage if he so wanted to, and he could, at that point, he could just pop like Guru and Archer before his opponent's able to flip them in any way. He's going to go for Mirage Stallion, though. This allows him to special summon from the deck. He already has all the resources he needs at this point. He's got Jack Jaguar in grave, Falco's in grave. He could just get Foul out of the deck if he wants to. It looks like that's what he's going to do here. There are some cool plays which he might actually take advantage of here, because I don't think he's used Falco's effect. You can actually use Falco to bounce Foul back to the hand and then re-special summon Falco since it was actually summoned that way. That way you can just have access to an instant rank 4, which is pretty nice. But we're going to see the Mirage Stallion and the Sunlight Wolf linked off into a Heat Leo. We're going to see a chain link of chain link 1 Heat Leo, chain link 2 Mirage Stallion. So Mirage Stallion is going to bounce Guru back to the hand, and Heat Leo is going to go ahead and shuffle the Final Battle back into the deck. We're going to see Final Battle be used in response here. And so I'm curious which effect he's actually going to be using. I think the players are just discussing which of the modes that the card is going to be used. It might be the one to double the attack value of the Archer just to help it survive. Not 100% sure though. But it's going to go into another copy of Heat Leo here. And now he's going to use the effect of Heat Leo to make the Subterror Archers attack 500 by targeting it, as well as the Balinx engrave. So that way he's able to clear the Archer. Guru is still in the hand, which is one of the things I don't like about this play, but it is actually perfectly fine just because of the fact that he's just going to be able to set the Rage that he added back to his hand, pop 3 cards, and this one should just be over at this point. He's going to re-special summon the Foul off of being the bounce back to the hand with the Falco, like I alluded to earlier. So this sets him up for a rank 4 play, but he might not even need it, because remember, the Subterror player is on 5k life at this point, so he might just be able to go in for the kill here. He's going to use Will the Salamangreat to resurrect the Sunlight Wolf from grave. Falco's going to attack over the Archer, which that's going to deal 700 damage. I'll put it at 43. And everything else should be game here, because that's 23, 18, and 18. So that's 36, 56. That's 5,900 worth of damage. Archer will trigger its effect here, though. And Archer does get you, I believe, it either special summons a Subterror or it adds it to hand. I don't remember which one it is exactly. But it looks like he's going to grab Umastrix, so we're going to find out what he does with it. It does set it to the field. Okay, so that actually matters here, and it's actually going to give the Subterror Guru player a bit of reprieve, so he's not going to lose on this turn. Umastrix, as the Salamangreat player is just reading here, Umastrix, if it's flipped up, you get to target and banish a card on the field, which is a very strong effect. It also has a very interesting stat line. But again, I don't really think this matters too much here, because he does have the copy of Rage in his hand, so he can just use the Rage. He can pop the Umastrix before it even has the chance to flip, and he should be perfectly fine. I mean, he's also got all the resources engraved to do this again next turn. This is what makes Salamangreat so resilient, because even if this board gets shattered, he still has the Foxy, he still has the Spinny. He's got so many things. Here comes the Rage, targeting the Reincarnation summoned Heat Leo, which means he can pop 3 cards on the field. Umastrix is most likely going to be destroyed, because it really isn't a lot you can do here. I don't think there is too much he can do. He's going to be able to set Guru, but honestly, I don't think that's going to matter in the slightest here, because he's going to have more than enough damage to take this game 1. So Umastrix dies to the Rage. The Guru Control player is going to set the copy of Guru, presumably, pass it back, and this should be game by the Salamangreat player. We'll just have to see. I don't really think there's too much here. If he had a Fiendus, it wouldn't be online because the a Subterror card has to be face up for that Fiendus to be live. So even if he had a negation here, I don't think it matters because the Salamangreat player is already established enough. So we're going to see Will resurrect Gazelle. Gazelle can just dump anything at this point. Again, Roar is probably like the only thing in his deck that he hasn't sent. So there it is. But this should just be wrapping things up at this point. Just want to go through the motions. Obviously, I think one of the things is to bear in mind, you wouldn't want to overcommit to a Nibiru in this instance. Again, you could probably just attack with everything and been just fine. I think what he'll do at the very least is just go into Spinny. He can go ahead and, he's actually going to bolster the attack of the Spinny with Heat Leo's effect. I was going to say if at the very least he was going to go for like Mirage Stallion, maybe another Link play, just to bounce the Guru back to the hand, but I don't think it's necessary because he can just simply attack over the Guru and he's got more than enough damage to win this one out here. But do keep in mind, Salamangreat does have a very significant weakness to Nibiru, especially on the early turns, and that can be one of the reasons why the deck does suffer. And Guru Control, that is one of the advantages of playing that deck, is that it doesn't lose to a card like Nibiru, because it barely ever summons whatsoever, and in a format that's being dominated by Nibiru, that is something to keep in mind. So game 1 goes to Salamangreat. We're going to go into game 2 here. I imagine the Guru Control player is going to start. Looking at that opening hand, doesn't seem too bad. He looks like he opened 2 traps, a Guru, and also opened the Terraforming as well, so this is pretty nice. So even if this Hidden City does get met with an Ash Blossom, he will still have the copy of Guru in his hand. So we're going to see Hidden City. Imagine that's going to be activated immediately. We'll see if there's an Ash Blossom to be forced out here. And so at that point, even if there isn't, then he just gets to search Fiendus, which is even nicer, and he can plus off of by flipping the Guru up with the Hidden City as well. So just a lot of pluses right there with that hand. Looks pretty nice. It's going to set 1 card, and looks like he's going to activate Hidden City next. And we're going to see if that resolves. It does. Okay, so this could be pretty big here, because now we can go ahead and add another card. We're going to add the Fiendus here. And then if he flips the Guru, Guru can get any other card. Presumably, you're going to get the final battle with the Guru's effect. And that way, you pretty much have your full setup. It looks like the Guru player also has 2 cards that he can set in the back row, in addition to being able to search final battle here. We'll just have to see, though. But very good setup overall from the Guru player. Do keep in mind, though, these are sided games, so this will be going into games 2 and 3 here, and you have to bear in mind that the side decks do play a role. So when you're looking at Salamangreat, what things you're siding? Well, you could have stuff like Twin Twister that you're siding into just to have more cards. You could have stuff like Cosmic Cyclone that's starting to see more popularity. There's just, you know, a plethora of different back row removal cards to keep in mind. But for the most part, I mean, if you're a Guru player and you have a setup like this, I don't really think you care too much. Salamangreat players just taking an opportunity to read Fiendus. Yes, it does negate basically anything, so that's something that's very, very strong about this deck. So we're going to see a copy of Guru set. We're going to see Hidden City flip up the Guru. This is going to proc the search. And again, we're probably going to get final battle here unless he already has it, but nope, looks like he's going to go ahead and search that. And with 2 traps, I believe one of those was in permanence, and I think the other one is There Can Be Only One. There Can Be Only One is a very good card against Salamangreat because since they are all the same type, it's very difficult for them to play under it. They have very few outs. If they're playing the Danger version, that helps them out it a little bit easier by going into Nightmare Phoenix. Otherwise, you kind of have to hope you get a Foxy in the graveyard with like no other cards on your field, so that way you're able to use the Foxy's effect to pop it. But there are ways to out it. It's just a very difficult card for that deck to play around. So the Salamangreat player's turn now. Looks like we're going to see a Cosmic Cyclone instantly on the middle set card, which was the There Can Be Only One. That's crazy because he could have just like used it in response to There Can Be Only One being flipped up, but I guess the problem with that is Fiendus could negate it. I don't know. That's a tough call. That's risky. But here comes Salamangreat's Circle now. That is going to be negated by Fiendus, so Guru is going to flip itself face down, and that's actually going to trigger the effect of the Umastrix in the Guru Control player's hand. That will allow him to special summon it to the field, which is pretty nice. We're going to see a normal summon of Spinny here. Spinny can go ahead and make Balinks, but it doesn't give him full combo yet. He still needs one other level 3. I'm not sure if he's playing Sea Archiver, if he has a Foxy, or he's got, well, I mean, Foxy wouldn't even matter really too much at this point unless he discarded it somehow. It'd be interesting, but we're going to get Sanctuary to hand here. I still can't believe he blind Cyclone that there can be only one. That was so risky. But again, I guess you do have to play around the Phoenix in some way. You could have like sequenced your order though to circle first, bait out the Phoenix, and then you could do your play, have there can be only one be flipped, and then just Cosmic Cyclone it there and not have to worry about it. I think that might have been the better correct sequence of plays there, but it's debatable. You guys can let me know down in the comments what you think. So we're going to see Sanctuary come down here. We're going to see a Reincarnation Link summon of Balinks. That's never a good sign if you're a Salamangreat player and this is your play. It's just like, it's just you're not in a good position because there's not a whole lot you can do. You're kind of just doing that just to kind of give you a little bit of defense, but not really the best hand if I had to guess. It looks like there's a copy of Roar in his hand, and that's something you want to look out for. You pretty much have to think at this point, if you're the Guru Control player, what traps is he going to set? So he could set Roar, he could set Rage, so that way you might have to play through at least one negation or like one singular pop, which isn't the end of the world, but it's still something that you will have to think about. So we're going to see 2 cards set in the Salamangreat player's back row, and that just might be a pass. And it looks like it is. So the Guru Control player in a very strong position right now. You feel very good if you just see a Balink set 2 pass. That's probably one of the best situations. And a top deck Pot of Extravagance. Oh my god, it does not get better than that. That might be met with the Roar here, as a matter of fact, because it's tough because you don't want to negate, if you negate the Extravagance, then the Guru's going to resolve, and you'd kind of rather have the Guru get destroyed, in all honesty. So that's a tough one. I do not envy the Salamangreat player's position here. He is going to Roar the Extravagance, so that will deny him the 2 cards. However, I mean, he's just going to be in such a good position regardless, simply due to the fact that he can just flip Guru, he can get another copy of Fiendus, and then just pretty much just continue to snowball his position at this point. He also already has Umastrix face up, he can flip that down and start banishing things. Like, he's just going to be in a very solid position at this point. So it looks like he's contemplating his next move here. He's going to possibly switch Umastrix into attack mode. Umastrix, I believe, has a 2100 attack. Oh, he's actually going to flip the Umastrix face down here. And I was going to flip up his Guru. Guru might be able to trigger, and that's going to be met with Impermanence. Okay, so that's not too bad then if you have the Impermanence for the Guru, so that way you do deny him the search. So not the worst situation, but he does have the Final Battle once again. So Final Battle, again, going to allow the Guru to resolve in this instance, and that's pretty strong. Just being able to, you know, play through Impermanence and effectively blanket, and it also does reset itself. Now, it's going to be tough here to come back if you're the Salamangreat player. Yeah, you have a Spinny Engrave, but you're basically out of resources at this point. You would need something like, you would basically need like Gazelle, but now the Subterror player has Fiendus on the field, so like that's not even an option. Like, I mean, he's just kind of got to have the game on lock with only 1 card in hand for the Salamangreat player. Things are not looking too good. We're going to have Hidden City flip up the the Umastrix. Umastrix is going to banish the Balinks, and now we're going to get an attack of 16 and I believe 21 from both of those monsters, putting the Salamangreat player at about half life, so that's going to put him at like 4,300 approximately. Actually 3,300 because he did use Cosmic Cyclone on his turn 1, so very close to death here. Did top deck a Will of the Salamangreat, it looks like, so that's not the worst, but it doesn't exactly get him out of this particular situation very well here. Now, this Will could be negated by Fiendus, and it looks like it might be. He's going to pitch that, set the Umastrix down, so it's going to be able to pop a card again on the next turn. He's just going to set a card and pass, and that might be it. I think the Guru player might take this one, and we're going to see a game 3 here. So we're going to see Umastrix get flipped up. And I think, I'm not 100% sure if it can pop, or if it can banish any card, but it doesn't look like he's banishing anything, so it might have to be a monster specifically. And it looks like we're going to battle phase. Guru and Umastrix are going to attack. He's going to flip up Final Battle to go ahead and double the attack value of that Guru. And that's going to do it. That was just a set Fusion of Fire on the Salamangreat player side. And we are going to game number 3. So all the marbles on the line here. Salamangreat is going first, though, so you know it's got to feel pretty good about that. I do not see a hand trap in the Guru Control player's hand, though, unless that trap card is Impermanence. But it looks like it's Solemn Judgment, actually. And the Salamangreat player opened with Lady Debug, which is a pretty solid opening. So this one's going to be a bit of an uphill battle for the Guru Control player. However, he does have a copy of Super Polymerization in his hand, which we just saw him flip to the front, and that could be a very pivotal card in winning this if it's going to if that's going to happen. So the Salamangreat player just doing his standard plays. He's going into Balinks, going to get the Gazelle out of his hand. That way he can go ahead and dump any of his Salamangreat cards. At this point, you can just dump the Spinny, make your Mirage Stallion, and go off from there. Depends on what else he has in his hand, though, if that's the way he wants to go. So we're going to see him send Roar, so he might already have a Spinny. That would be even better. No, actually, he's going to go ahead and link off directly into Sunlight Wolf. No Mirage Stallion here, possibly trying to play around in Nibiru, but we're going to see a resurrection of the of the Balinks with the Will of the Salamangreat, but now he's going to go ahead. Well, now he's playing into Nibiru, so that would be definitely over 5 summons at this point. He's going to Reincarnation for Sunlight Wolf. He's going to add back the Roar to his hand with the Sunlight Wolf's effect. And now he can set a couple of cards. Wow, is he going to set 3 cards? Oh, geez. 4 cards. Wow. So 4 cards set. Will on the field. Sunlight Wolf still able to generate advantage. And a Gazelle in hand. You know, I would not feel too bad about that if I'm the Salamangreat player in this position. It's not the best, but it's not the worst by any stretch either. So Pot of Extravagance from the Guru Control player. He's going to banish 6 to draw 2. Oh, is he just banishing... Wow, wait a minute. Did he just banish 3 for 1 draw? That's really interesting. Okay, I'm not sure why that was the case. That's odd. But he's going to Terraforming, though. He's going to get Hidden City. So Hidden City will give him some Guru access here. So at least he's got a good start. Both these players have a seemingly good start, it looks like. A lot of traps and that Super Poly still. That could be one thing too. Maybe the Salamangreat player is cognizant of Super Poly being a card, especially in a deck like Guru Control, since they are very anti-meta. Maybe he doesn't want to play into a card like that. We're going to see Cosmic Cyclone answer this Hidden City, so no search on the Hidden City because it will not have the chance to resolve. Hidden City will get banished and the Salamangreat player will go down to 7,000 life points. Just making sure that Hidden City's banished here. And now it looks like the Guru Control player is going to set 3 cards? Looks like it. Oh, looks like he's taking one of them back. Oh, no, he's going to put it back down. And his 4th card as well. And he's going to pass the turn. 1 card still left his hand in hand. And we're going to have a Battle of the Back Row, it looks like here. Now, if there's a Rage set, this would be very good because now he can go ahead and Rage 2 of those Back Row. Oh, but he has Trap Trick. Okay, does he play 2 copies of Rage? That's the question. Because, oh, and it looks like he does. Oh my god, this is huge. So now, the reason why this is so good is because he's banishing Rage, which is a normal trap, setting another copy of Rage. Rage will then activate, pop 2 of the Back Row, and then he's able to Roar 1 of them as long as he keeps up his Sunlight Wolf, because that will just blank the 3rd one, and wow, this could just be game over right here. So Rage is going to activate. He's going to get the 2nd and 4th back row from the perspective of the Guru Control player. And this is all during the end phase, so there's nothing that could be used in response here. I think the Guru Control player was trying to Solemn Judgment here, but I think this is still an end phase, so he's actually not able to use that judgment. Yeah, I think he's just describing right now he's doing this during the end phase, so he's actually not able to have those judgments activate. Looks like that's the case, and now this is going to be a... Oh, wow, that's a Cyclone too. Oh my god, this is huge. So now he has the Roar as well, and now he's going to be able to negate whatever the 4th card may be in addition to that. This is huge. Cyclone going to activate, going to banish another card. That was the Super Poly as well. Oh my god. I think the Guru Control player is just like flustered at this point that that's what's happening. And that's going to be it. We know he has Gazelle in hand. There's still... You know, it's not over. The Salamangreat players does still have to win here, but I mean, he's basically won by control of the board at this point. We're gonna see Gazelle get normal summoned. As long as he keeps up that Sunlight Wolf, he's gonna be able to roar anything that the Guru Control player has at this point. I guess the only thing would be like barring Super Poly, so I mean, I guess that's something to be aware of, but for the most part, I think he should be in an okay position to kind of just set up. I think he added back Rage with his copy of Sunlight Wolf at the start of his turn. He dumped Jack Jaguar with the Gazelle. Now we can go ahead and dump Spinny, which he drew for turn, which is pretty nice. He's going to bolster the attack of his Sunlight Wolf by 500, putting it to 23. Now he's going to special summon it and overlay for a copy of Mirage Stallion. The Mirage Stallion is going to go ahead and activate. That's 4,300 damage on the field so far. He's just trying to play the let's get to 8,000 game here and see if he can just just win on this turn. He's going to special summon a Falco from the deck. Again, Nibiru is a card to be aware of, but again, he does have Roar set to be able to take care of Nibiru. So at this point, again, as long as you keep that Sunlight Wolf out, you really don't fear anything apart from like Super Poly at this point. And I think he's just going to try to hit that 8,000 threshold and take this game number 3. He's actually going to link off, go for the Heat, or excuse me, the Heat Leo, yes, to go ahead and shuffle back that remaining back row. And that way, he's going to not have to worry about anything else that the Guru Control player has on his field. Now, he can also resurrect this Jack Jaguar here. That's going to give him 2,000 plus 23 is 43, and then 1,800 is 61. And then he can will back something, because I don't think he's used will to special summon anything at this point. So I think he can will back the Heat Leo, actually, and that would give him 8,000, I believe. So there's Jack Jaguar. And yeah, that should be lethal if he does use Heat Leo, or if he does use Will to resurrect the Heat Leo, which I think he hasn't used Will yet this turn. Oh, he's just going to bring back Gazelle. Okay, I'm not sure if that's still... Oh, okay, it's basically going to be lethal regardless. So he's going to resurrect Falco. He's going to use the Heat Leo effect to make the Falco 2,300. So that's 23, 46, 66, and 8,400, I believe. So that should be game. Salamangreat player is going to take it. Guys, thank you so much for watching the video, and we'll see you next time.